Don't mind the Clientron sitting here. Small update for you coming soon. But in the meantime, let's look at this. A Thecus N4100Pro. It's a low budget network attached storage device. It supports RAID 4 base 1234. The fourth one didn't have a drive in it, but the first three do. Local viewer sent this over. She said one of the hard drives failed. She replaced it with one she had sitting around, and then as she was doing it, the other hard drive failed too. I can see the top one runs, but there's nothing here. So there. She said it doesn't boot. Clearly it's booted up, or so we would like to think. She said she's a content creator and saw my video where I fixed the Synology. This guy here. She said she really needs the data back. All right, so we opened it up, and indeed, booting finished, and it says the RAID. There's no RAID on here. So that's bad. It doesn't even tell us that the RAID may have failed. It just says, nope, can't find one. That's it. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough one to get the data back on here. Guys, I forgot to mention in the video that to make matters worse, the RAID was of course also encrypted, and she didn't even remember that this unit came with a password. Great. And if you have a hard drive or a NAS that failed or need data restored from a RAID, remember, head over to retrobytemeister.com. You can book services and browse refurbished gear that you can purchase. We got TVs, we got Commodores, we got Ataris, we got Dells, we got IBM compatibles, we got consoles, Nintendo, Sony, whatever you want. Each dollar you spend supports my channel and the work that I do. So if you like my channel, consider buying something. And if you already did, well, thank you. So annoyingly, to reset the admin password, this unit does not have a physical reset switch. That's a problem, and I see online that there's at least 3 different ways to reset this one. And Thecus, the manufacturer, says the best way to do it is to take this here. This is the disk on module. That's where the operating system is stored. At some point during the boot process, just rip it out. I don't know about that. Like, that's the manufacturer's suggestion to do. There's lots of YouTube videos that show you how to do this. But no, there's also another way that I discovered that involves USB. So let's get after that real quick. But first things first, let's check out the master password. And connect it to my isolated network. And well, this is a good sign, right? It's a good sign that we at least have the login screen. And the default password for the system administrator is admin, and yeah, that's not it. I did find a forum entry on this website where there's a user who goes by A Savage, who 5 years or so ago posted a description on how to do it, and helpfully posts the links to the Thecus knowledge base, which I actually never looked at. Yeah, but that knowledge base is gone, so bye-bye. Thankfully, he told us exactly how to do it. So, and even more fortunately, he is running his own server, I'm guessing in his home, but it's an FTP server, so seems all pretty shady to me, but it turns out this might be our best shot. So let's get after that. Okay, and the way to do it, I guess, is to get yourself a USB drive that is formatted with FAT32 or FAT16, that's fine. And then there's a script that they have called factory test. Don't trust scripts you find on the internet, but this one here, it's actually benign. Let's look through this real quick, huh? I guess what happens is that the Thecus, during the boot process, looks for SATA drives, and when it found one, it checks if it's a USB, and if it is a USB, it mounts it, and then checks whether or not there's this update script here called USB upgrade is available. And USB upgrade is in fact one of the files we have here. So, and if it is USB upgrade, what it will do is it will execute basically an update script that must be stored somewhere on the operating system. Good. Else, if that script or that file is not there, it will check whether or not there's a USB reset default script. And you can see we have one of those over here too. But this script file is 0 kilobytes. In fact, it's an empty file. And if it finds this USB reset defaults, it will just create a dummy file somewhere in the temporary folder of the operating system. And I'm guessing that, again, the operating system is designed such that it will then just, execute some kind of internal script to do that. If it's doesn't find USB reset default, it will look for USB reset password, again, which is a file that is 0 bytes. So I'm guessing what you're supposed to do here is rename these files to whatever you want the system to do. Either upgrade the firmware, reset to factory defaults, or reset password. So we want to do reset password. I'm guessing at some point we're going to restore to the factory defaults, like so. And when we pop that in, allegedly, it'll then just execute the reset default script that lives in the operating system and then power off the system. Let's try it. Pop in the USB drive, power back in, let's boot it. And it says booting here, you can barely see it. Oh, look at that, it did access the USB. I'm gonna turn down the brightness a little bit. Hopefully you can see what's on the screen there. It says it's booting. It's a neat little feature to have this little screen here. Hopefully it'll show you the IP address once it's booted, because that would be really useful. Yep, something's happening. And you can hear that one of the hard drives is definitely, can you hear that? It says power off start now. So I wonder if it already did its thing. Yep. And that was it. Nice. I guess we don't need this anymore. Let's boot her again. DOM A boot. Now says it's booting from the DOM. It took forever. It took forever. Well, it didn't do that beep a second ago. System ready. Cool. So let's bring it over here and see if we can log in. Okay, and yep, she's booted again. Admin. Oh, that's new. Hey. And that worked. We are in, friends, but look at this. Yup. We're in trouble. And I'm also noticing how the date time isn't right. We want to take a quick look at the RAID management. Here it is. Yep, here we go. That's bad. I cannot retrieve the smart status for this drive neither. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not surprised this failed. Okay, so I guess our best bet is to get the drives out and pop them into a reader and then see what we can do. All right, here they are, plugged into my dual SATA reader. Pop her in my MacBook, and it's on my MacBook because this is where I have this tool installed called Test Disk. Professional, open source, but professional data recovery. Very nice. And friends, these things don't even boot up. Like, it detects this drive, but this drive, nuh-uh. All right, in we are with a third one. Aha. Okay, so that, ooh, unhappy drive. Does not want to boot up, huh? What do? Wait a minute, weren't two of this, wasn't this the same as this guy here? Maybe I can swap the boards or something. Let's see what happens. Hold on, be right back. So yeah, this one is definitely dead. But I did find the 500 gigabyte version of this drive. Not quite the same, but I'm having a feeling the boards are similar enough, more similar than the other two drives. We might be able to get something off of here if we just swap boards. So let's do that real quick. All right, here it is. Turn it on. So board from the 500 gigabyte drive on the 3 terabyte drive itself. Turn it on. All right. Okay, so we got something. Gonna ignore this. And now I suppose we're just gonna start looking at the drive. And guys, I didn't mention it in the video, but this RAID was configured as a RAID 5 with 3 drives and a partition size of 1 gigabyte, which makes me think that the original number of drives was 3 with 500 gigabyte each. Not knowing the strip size though, and not knowing the encryption password, was quite difficult to determine what the file system was. But this being a budget device, the encryption wasn't very strong and we were able to brute force crack the password stored in the boot sector. Now this footage here is sped up by about 500%, so you can see how long it takes to grab the files. You can see how this is working, and it's grabbing them from the drive. So yeah, it'll take a while, because I'm not sure how much we will able to get between 500 gigabytes, I'm hoping, or whatever file systems was still intact. Let's wait for this to finish and see what we can do. All right, we got about 430 or so gigabytes of data back, and she's very happy. Now, I guess we can put new hard drives into this. And set up the NAS. Yay. My customer tells me she had about 500 gigabytes of data on the NAS, so 430 of which restored. That's nothing to scoff at in my opinion. Guys, thanks for watching, and if you need anything repaired, restored, or modded, or need your data restored, call your boy RetroByteMeister at retrobytemeister.com. Bye.